Hello, hello, my beautiful soul. Welcome back to the podcast of the ways of the wise owl. Let's before we start, let's take a breathe. Let's breathe. And we're going to do it like this. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So I want you to do it this way now. When we going to inhale, imagine that a wide energy is coming inside your body through the when you inhale, come through there, and then when you exhale, you're going to exhale everything that is bothering you, all black energy, bad energy, and everything. We're going to do it 3 times. So let's start. Inhale. I'm imagining this white light energy coming out of my body, coming inside my body. Exhale. All the bad energy that I have is coming out. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. If you've been listening to this series, you already know what we are doing. We are not performing healing. We are not posting quotes and still bleeding in private. We are doing the real work, the kind, the change, how you show up in your life. So far, we talk about what peace really is, the cost of negotiating it, and why guilt show up the moment you choose yourself. And today we're stepping into the next phase, and it's permission, because awareness is powerful, but awareness without action still leave you stuck. So today true is this: peace is a boundary, not an attitude. Let's repeat this: peace is a boundary, not an attitude. One more time, my beautiful soul: peace is a boundary, not an attitude. Peace is not something you hope to feel. Peace is something you protect. So let's talk about it. A lot of people believe peace is a mood. Like, I'm trying to be peaceful. I'm trying to stay calm. I'm trying not to let it get to me. But my beautiful soul, if your peace depends on you swallowing everything, you are not peaceful. You are just trained. And if your peace depend on everyone else behaving correctly, you're going to stay stuck on an emotional roller coaster. And you know that I love the metaphors of the roller coaster. When we come up and we stay and then down, up and down. So that's how you're going to get stuck in a roller coaster, up, down, all down, because you are you are just swallowing everything, and you just like, if people behave well, your peace is good. No, peace is not just a vibe. Peace is a standard. Peace is a decision. Peace is a boundary, because the truth is, if you don't protect your peace, nobody will spend it. Okay? So, let me make the boundaries simple, because people overcomplicate them. A boundary is not a request. A boundary is not please respect me. A boundary is not I hope you understand. A boundary is not don't do that, okay? A boundary is a limit you enforce. So here's the definition I want you to keep in mind. A boundary is what you will do to protect your peace, regardless of what someone else chooses. That's why people get frustrated, because they think boundaries are about controlling others. But boundaries are about controlling access to your time, access to your energy, access to your emotional space, access to your body, access to your attention. And if someone is used to having unlimited access, the moment you set a boundary, they will call it rude, selfish, cold, dramatic. Look, this dramatic now. that you are different, but different is not wrong. Different is you growing. Okay, so why boundary feel hard? and and let's be honest about why they feel hard. Not because you don't know what to say, but because you're afraid of what will happen after you say it. You're afraid of the guilt. You are afraid of the pushback. You're afraid of the tension. You're afraid of the silent treatment. You are afraid of them being misunderstood, being talked about, being seen as the villain of the story. And I need you to hear this. People who benefit from your lack of boundary we always have problem with your boundaries. Okay, I always say this in my episode when I talk about boundaries. When people love you and they know that you are in a self discovery journey, or you're doing something good for yourself, and they really care about you, they're going to respect your boundaries. But if they don't respect them, they're just there to take advantage and collect this tax of your peace. Okay, so not because your boundary are wrong, but because your boundary interrupt their convenience. So let's repeat this again. People who benefit from your lack of boundary will always have a problem with your boundaries. Not because your boundaries are wrong, but because your boundaries interrupt their convenience, because they cannot do anything they want with you. They're that they then now you're dramatic and different and all that stuff. Okay, but so let's put it like this. Yes, boundaries are uncomfortable. They are uncomfortable. But the but do you know what's more uncomfortable? Living your whole life exhausted, resentful, overstretched, and calling it love. That's more uncomfortable. And I'm going to talk today about four types of boundaries, and let's make this practical. And these are four main type of boundaries. I want you to think about it, and there are more of this. Okay, so let's talk about time boundaries. And I'm not going to go deep in this. If you want more about boundaries, I'm going to put a link under here so you can go to the boundary program and check that. That's a good thing that you can go ahead and check. Okay, so let's talk about time boundary. Time boundary sounds like I'm not available today. That's what we tell people. I can do 30 minutes. I'm not taking calls after 7. I need a day to respond. Because listen, your time is your life, and if you don't protect it, you will wake up wondering where you went. Okay, so let's talk about how emotional boundary sounds like. I'm not carrying this for you. I'm not responsible for your feelings. I need space to process. I'm not available for guilt trips. That's how emotional boundary sounds like. Because some people don't want connection, they want control through emotion. And you are allowed to, and you're allowed to opt out. You are allowed to opt out. Okay, and we that live in a especially me that I'm Latina, that we live in this limiting belief that we've been raised that we have to please first others before you and stuff like that. This when I did this, for me was difficult. Okay, so some people, remember, some people don't want connection, they want control through emotion. And it's okay that you opt out. Okay, so let's talk about how conversational boundary sounds like. I'm not discussing that. If you raise your boy, I'm ending the call. I'm not continuing this conversation if you disrespect me. We can talk when is calm, when the situation is calm. And let me tell you this, it's okay to tell people all this stuff. And let me say this, you don't have to stay in conversations that harm you. Just prove, or just to prove that you're mature than the situation. No, you can't. So now let's talk about the physical and digital boundary, how they sound like. And they will sound like something like, don't touch me like that. I'm turning my phone off. I'm muting this group chat. I'm stepping away from social media. Your nervous system needs protection too. And remember, I'm going to put the link here so you can go for more deep on boundaries. Okay, so now I'm going to give you something you can actually use today. And here's a boundary formula. And I'm going to repeat it one time. And I want then you to repeat it with me two times. Well, let's repeat it two times. Okay. Boundary formula is name the limit, name the consequence, and follow through calmly. Okay, so the boundary formula is name the limit, name the consequence, follow through calmly. Let's go into repeat it again. Name the limit, name the consequence, and follow through calmly. And now you will say that, Mari, but what this mean? I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you three examples, and we're going to see how this formula kick in. I'm not available for yelling. If it continues, I'm ending this call. So here, the name the limit. I'm not available for yelling. Name the consequence. If it continues, and follow through calmly, I'm ending this call. Another sample is I'm not discussing my personal life. If you keep pushing, I'm leaving the room. Name the limit. I'm not discussing my personal life. Name the consequence. If you keep pushing and follow through calmly, I'm leaving the room. Another example, and the last one is I'm not taking no extra stacks this week. If it's not urgent, it will have to wait. So name the limit. I'm not taking no extra tax this week. Name the consequence is not just if it's not urgent. And follow through calmly will I will have it will have to wait. And my beautiful soul, the power is not in the words. The power is in the follow through. Because you can say it, but and let me tell you this, because you keep stating boundaries you don't enforce, people learn they can ignore it them and ignore you when you say it. So boundary teach people how to treat you, yes? But more importantly, boundary teach you that you can trust yourself. So let me give you a few borrowable script. No over explain, no guilt. And let's start. That doesn't work for me. I'm not available for that. I need time to think about it. No. And remember, no is a sentence. No. I'm going to pause this conversation. I cannot commit to that. I'm choosing to rest. And for me, for my over explainers, because I see you, here's your reminder. Explanations are not boundaries. Boundaries are boundaries. Some people don't want your explanation. They want an opening to negotiate. And we are not going to do that because we don't negotiate peace, okay? So you're going to ask me when you set a boundary and you feel guilty. So remember in episode 3, because guilt will try to talk you out of your boundary. So when guilt show up, hear what you to say. This is you're going to say it and you say it to yourself, okay? This is uncomfortable, not wrong. I'm not violating my values. I'm not violating their expectation. And this one right here, this is important. You don't need to be angry to set a boundary. You do not need to be harsh. You do not need to be cold. You can be loving and still be firm. Boundaries can be said softly, but they must be held strongly. Okay? So today we learn peace is not a mood you wait for. We learned today that peace is a standard you enforce. We also learned today that peace is a boundary you protect. And when you protect your peace, you stop building a life that requires you to recover from it every day. So, next episode, we are going deeper because sometimes the reason you struggle to keep your boundary is because you're still negotiating with an old version of yourself. So, in episode 5, we are talking about stop negotiating with your old version of yourself because you don't owe loyalty to who you had to be to survive. Okay, so here's a simple assignment for today. Identify one boundary you need right now: time, emotional, conversational, digital, physical. Write one sentence for it using the formula: I'm not available for. If you continues, I will blank. And remember, and the formula was: you identify the limit, identify the consequence, and identify the true calmly. Okay, and if this episode helped you, share it with someone who needs permission to stop apologizing for their limits. I love you guys. I'm proud of you. And remember, my P is not negotiable. Repeat with me. My P is not negotiable. My peace is not negotiable. My peace is not negotiable. Love you guys. Be blessed. Have a wonderful and beautiful day. Talk to you soon. Bye.